Stop everything you're doing right now because what I'm about to tell you is going to absolutely destroy your perception of Seth Rollins forever. While you've been sitting here worried about his knee injury and when he's coming back, the real story has been brewing behind the scenes, and it's about to tear apart one of WWE's most beloved power couples. Becky Lynch has filed for divorce from Seth Rollins. But that's not even the worst part. The reason she's filing, she discovered that Seth has been hiding a secret child from a relationship that happened while they were together. This isn't just career-ending drama, this is life-destroying betrayal of the highest order. And here's the kicker, WWE management has been covering this up for months while feeding you lies about his injury recovery and triumphant return. They've been using his legitimate knee problems as a smokescreen to hide the fact that their golden boy has been living a double life that would make even the most twisted soap opera writers blush. You want to know why Seth Rollins has really been absent from television? It's not just the torn MCL and meniscus. It's because his entire personal life has been imploding in spectacular fashion, and WWE has been scrambling to control the narrative before it destroys their carefully crafted image. For months, WWE has been feeding us carefully choreographed social media posts showing Seth working hard on his recovery and hitting the gym. But sources close to the situation, and I mean close, have revealed that these posts were nothing more than a carefully orchestrated public relations campaign designed to keep fans distracted from the nuclear family drama exploding behind the scenes. Think about it. When was the last time you saw Seth and Becky together in public? When was the last time they posted photos together on social media? When was the last time either of them mentioned their relationship in interviews? The signs have been there for months, but WWE's propaganda machine has been working overtime to keep this story buried. But here's what they couldn't hide. Court documents filed in Iowa, Seth's home state, show that Rebecca Quinn, known professionally as Becky Lynch, has initiated divorce proceedings citing irreconcilable differences and breach of marital trust. The filing specifically mentions undisclosed relationships and financial obligations related to child support as contributing factors. This isn't just about infidelity. This is about Seth Rollins systematically lying to his wife, his fans, and his employer while building a reputation as one of the good guys in professional wrestling. The man who's been positioned as a role model, a leader, and a pillar of WWE's locker room culture has been living a lie so massive that it's about to bring down everything he's built. Let me break down the timeline of this deception because when you see it laid out, the scope of Seth's betrayal becomes absolutely staggering. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the situation, Seth's secret relationship began in late 2022, around the time he was feuding with Roman Reigns and building toward his championship run. The woman in question, whose identity is being protected for legal reasons, was reportedly a WWE employee who worked in the company's corporate offices. Their relationship continued for over a year, during which time Seth was publicly playing the role of devoted husband and father to his daughter with Becky Lynch. The child, a son, was born in early 2024, just months before Seth's knee injury. But here's where it gets really twisted. Sources suggest that Seth's knee injury wasn't entirely accidental. Multiple witnesses report seeing Seth in heated arguments with WWE officials about taking time off around the same time the paternity test results were confirmed. Was Seth's injury legitimate? Absolutely. But did he use it as an excuse to disappear from television while he figured out how to handle this catastrophic personal situation? The evidence is overwhelming that he did exactly that. The way Becky Lynch discovered the truth is heartbreaking and infuriating at the same time. According to sources close to the situation, she found out about Seth's secret child through a private investigator she hired when she became suspicious about his behavior and unexplained absences. Imagine being one of the biggest stars in WWE, juggling a demanding career with motherhood, supporting your husband through his injury recovery, and then discovering that everything you thought you knew about your marriage was a lie. Becky didn't just find out about the affair, she discovered that Seth had been financially supporting another woman and child while lying to her face every single day. The private investigator's report allegedly includes photographs, financial records, and communication logs that paint a picture of systematic deception spanning over 2 years. Seth wasn't just having an affair, he was living an entire double life, complete with secret apartments, hidden bank accounts, and a web of lies so complex that it required professional help to unravel. Sources say that when Becky confronted Seth with the evidence, his response was to deny everything initially, then try to minimize the situation when denial became impossible. He reportedly told her that it was just a mistake, and that he wanted to work things out, completely failing to understand that 2 years of lies and betrayal isn't a mistake, it's a choice. This is where WWE's involvement becomes absolutely infuriating. Instead of dealing with this situation transparently, company officials made the decision to help Seth cover up his personal problems to protect their investment in his character and storylines. Multiple sources within WWE have confirmed that high-level executives were aware of Seth's situation months before Becky discovered the truth. They knew about the secret relationship, they knew about the child, and they made a conscious decision to help Seth hide it from his wife and the WWE universe. The company's involvement included coordinating Seth's social media posts to maintain the illusion of a happy marriage, scheduling his appearances to minimize the chance of discovery, and even allegedly providing financial assistance to help Seth manage his dual life. This isn't just about protecting a wrestler's privacy, this is about active corporate participation in deceiving an employee's spouse. Think about the implications here. WWE executives prioritized protecting Seth's marketability over the well-being of Becky Lynch, one of their biggest female stars and the mother of Seth's legitimate child. They were willing to let Becky live in ignorance while her husband destroyed their family, all to avoid negative publicity for their golden boy. The company's statement when this story initially broke was a masterclass in corporate doublespeak, claiming they respect the privacy of our performers' personal lives, while conveniently ignoring their active role in facilitating the deception. But wait, it gets worse. Court documents related to the divorce proceedings have revealed that Seth's financial deception goes far beyond just hiding child support payments. He's been systematically hiding assets, creating shell companies, and moving money through complex financial arrangements designed to keep his secret life funded while minimizing his wife's access to their shared wealth. Forensic accountants hired by Becky's legal team have allegedly discovered over $2 million in hidden assets, including real estate purchases, investment accounts, and business interests that Seth never disclosed to his wife. This isn't just about infidelity anymore, this is about financial fraud on a massive scale. The most infuriating part, Seth was using money from his WWE contract, money earned through storylines where he played the role of a trustworthy hero, to fund his deception. Every time fans cheered for him, every time he cut a promo about honor and integrity, he was essentially using that goodwill to finance his betrayal of his own family. Sources suggest that Seth's financial arrangements were so complex that he had to hire a team of accountants and lawyers to manage his double life. This wasn't a spontaneous affair that got out of hand. This was a carefully planned operation to systematically deceive his wife while maintaining his public image. Here's what WWE definitely doesn't want you to know: the locker room is in complete revolt over this situation. Multiple wrestlers have expressed outrage not just at Seth's personal behavior, but at WWE's decision to cover it up while continuing to push him as a role model and leader. Several top stars have reportedly demanded meetings with management to express their disgust with the situation. They're furious that they've been asked to work storylines that portrayed Seth as a hero while company officials knew he was destroying his family behind the scenes. The women's division is particularly upset, with several female wrestlers expressing solidarity with Becky Lynch and anger at WWE's willingness to sacrifice her well-being to protect Seth's career. There are reports of heated discussions about whether wrestlers should be expected to work with someone who's been living such a massive lie. Some wrestlers have even threatened to request their releases if WWE continues to protect Seth and minimize the impact of his actions. They're arguing that the company's response to this situation will set a precedent for how they handle similar issues in the future, and they're not willing to work for an organization that prioritizes marketability over basic human decency. The custody battle that's about to unfold is going to be absolutely brutal, and it's going to play out in the public eye whether WWE likes it or not. Becky Lynch isn't just fighting for custody of their daughter, she's fighting to protect her child from a father who's proven he's willing to lie about anything to protect his image. Legal experts familiar with the case suggest that Seth's pattern of deception and financial fraud will seriously damage his case for joint custody. Courts don't look favorably on parents who hide assets, lie to their spouses, and maintain secret relationships that could impact their children's welfare. But here's the truly heartbreaking part. Their daughter is going to grow up knowing that her father chose to destroy their family rather than live honestly. She's going to have to deal with the public nature of this scandal, the media coverage, and the reality that her father's selfishness has torn apart everything she thought she could count on. Becky Lynch, meanwhile, is facing the impossible task of protecting her daughter while dealing with her own emotional trauma and continuing her wrestling career. She's been put in a position where she has to be strong for her child, professional in her work, and composed in public, all while processing the complete destruction of her marriage and family. Let's be brutally honest about what this means for Seth Rollins' career. His carefully crafted image as a reliable, honorable wrestler is completely destroyed. How can WWE continue to push him as a hero when everyone knows he's been living a lie for years? The merchandising implications alone are staggering. Who's going to buy a Seth Rollins t-shirt now? Who's going to cheer for him when he returns to television? How can WWE book him in storylines about honor and integrity when his real-life actions have proven he has neither? But here's what's really infuriating. WWE is probably going to try to rehabilitate his image. They're going to craft some storyline about redemption and second chances, completely ignoring the fact that his actions weren't mistakes, they were calculated choices that destroyed his family and betrayed everyone who supported him. The company has too much invested in Seth to simply write him off, so they're going to try to spin this as a learning experience or a character-building challenge. They'll probably have him cut promos about making mistakes and growing as a person, completely trivializing the systematic deception he perpetrated against his own wife and child. This scandal is forcing a long-overdue conversation about WWE's culture and how they handle wrestlers' personal lives. For years, the company has marketed wrestlers as role models while turning a blind eye to behavior that would be unacceptable in any other workplace. The fact that WWE executives knew about Seth's situation and chose to help him cover it up rather than encourage him to handle it honestly reveals a company culture that prioritizes profits over people. They were willing to let Becky Lynch live in ignorance and their daughter grow up in a house built on lies, all to protect their investment in Seth's character. This isn't just about one wrestler's personal problems. This is about a system that allows and even encourages deception as long as it doesn't interfere with television programming. It's about a company that claims to value family and integrity while actively participating in the destruction of both. The wrestling industry as a whole needs to reckon with how it handles these situations. Other promotions are watching how WWE deals with this scandal, and their response will set a precedent for how similar situations are handled in the future. There are still so many questions that need to be answered about this situation. How many other WWE officials knew about Seth's double life? How much money did the company spend helping him maintain his deception? Were there other employees who were asked to participate in covering up the truth? What about the woman who had Seth's child? What was her role in WWE, and how did the company handle her situation? Was she pressured to keep quiet about the relationship? Was she transferred, demoted, or forced out of the company to protect Seth's secret? And what about the other wrestlers who work with Seth? How many of them knew about his situation, and how many of them were put in the position of having to lie or participate in his deception? The moral implications of this situation extend far beyond just Seth and Becky's marriage. The most important question is how WWE plans to handle this situation going forward. Will they continue to protect Seth and minimize the impact of his actions, or will they finally acknowledge that some behavior is unacceptable regardless of someone's value to the company? What makes this situation so particularly infuriating is the betrayal of trust it represents. Seth Rollins built his career on being seen as reliable, trustworthy, and genuine. Fans invested emotionally in his character because he seemed like one of the good guys in an industry full of manufactured personas. Every time he talked about his family in interviews, every time he posted photos with his wife and daughter, every time he portrayed himself as a devoted husband and father, he was lying. He was using his family as props to enhance his image while simultaneously destroying them through his actions. The WWE Universe has been cheering for a man who was systematically deceiving everyone who cared about him. They've been buying his merchandise, supporting his storylines, and investing in his success while he was using that support to finance his betrayal of his own family. This isn't just about a wrestler having an affair. This is about a public figure using his platform and his fans' goodwill to enable behavior that would be condemned in any other context. It's about the complete destruction of trust between a performer and the audience that made his career possible. Here's the final piece of information that's going to make you absolutely furious. Sources suggest that Seth's triumphant return was being planned as a storyline about overcoming adversity and becoming a better person. WWE was literally going to use his injury recovery as a metaphor for personal growth, completely ignoring the fact that he was destroying his family during his entire absence. The company was prepared to have him return as a conquering hero, talking about what he learned during his time away and how he was ready to reclaim his position as a leader in WWE. They were going to turn his deception into a redemption arc, completely trivializing the pain he caused his wife and daughter. This reveals everything you need to know about WWE's priorities. They were more concerned with crafting a compelling storyline than they were with the actual human cost of Seth's actions. They were willing to exploit his family's destruction for entertainment value while helping him avoid accountability for his choices. The fact that this story has come out before his planned return has completely derailed those plans, but it also reveals how disconnected WWE's leadership is from basic human decency. They were prepared to celebrate a man who had spent 2 years systematically lying to everyone who trusted him. This is bigger than just entertainment news. This is about holding people accountable for their actions, regardless of their status or value to a company. Seth Rollins needs to face consequences for his choices, and WWE needs to acknowledge their role in enabling his deception. Don't let them sweep this under the rug. Don't let them craft a redemption storyline that ignores the real human cost of Seth's actions. Don't let them continue to profit from a man who destroyed his family while pretending to be a role model. Share this video. Make sure everyone knows the truth about what Seth Rollins has done and how WWE has enabled it. The only way to force accountability is to make sure this story doesn't disappear into the corporate public relations machine. Becky Lynch deserves better. Their daughter deserves better. The WWE Universe deserves better. And the only way to get better is to demand it loudly and consistently until real change happens. The truth is out there now. The question is what you're going to do with it. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the WrestlingNewsCC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.